Okay, here we are once again in the backyard garden. I'm going to give you guys just a quick run through. That's something I scavenged from the neighbor. I want to make 3 planters out of that. But I'm going to give you guys a quick run through what we got going on back here after all the rain. And someone wanted to see the garden, what it looked like in the middle of the day. So here we are. I think it's like almost noon, a little afternoon right now. And as you can see, this tree gives this backyard garden a lot of shade. All the way up to where the corn is right there. That box right there is full sun. This is partial shade, and then this one is 80%. It's mostly shade all day, especially in the heat. So in the first box we have our purple cone flowers, which are growing very nicely, and then we have the second one, which is doing very well. We have some basil inside of there and Greek oregano. After the rainstorms, I think all the water kind of jacked up the Greek oregano a little bit, so I'm going to have to prune all that back. We've been harvesting off of this collard green plant. This is our year-long plant. That's what I'm going to call it, the year-long collard green plant. This here is our purple Cherokee tomato plant. And as you can see, I failed early on cutting off the suckers. So now we have 3 main vines, but I've been trimming and pruning all the excess suckers off of these vines here, and so we got some flowers there, and we got some flowers right there. This thing is pretty tall, mind you, and the branches on this thing is really thick. I mean, this is my finger right there, and that's how thick that branch is. It's pretty huge. Inside of the purple Cherokee tomato box, we got some not turnip greens, but mustard greens have finally sprouted and they're growing, and they're doing really good. And we have our, is it the million tomato? I think this is the million vine tomato. Let me check down here in our little tab. Sweet million cherry tomatoes is what that is. And as you can see, because we are big fans of the Depot, we are really big fans of Home Depot. They got good stuff. So you guys want to endorse me, go right on ahead. But yeah, all of our plants we got from Home Depot. We're also big fans of the Bonnie plant variety because they're real plants. You can get a harvest off of Bonnie plants, take some of the seeds, dry those seeds out during your harvest, and replant them. Most of this stuff here we've had from seeds from over a year, from last year when we were growing, and we planted them again this year, and it's coming back. This is our small, little tiny watermelons. They're finally kicking off. So this box right here, these 3 boxes, is our full shade box. It's high noon. I think it's high noon, but the sun doesn't hit this box until well after like 1 or 2, maybe, I think. This box right here, which is partial shade, this has the Mexican petunias in it. Then it has the butterfly weed in it. That has some seeds. I just found out these were seed pods. Thank you, Kathy, for that. That was good info. And we have our snacking peppers that are coming back, and our hot burrito peppers, the one I did the video on, they're just all of a sudden exploded. So I think the rain, the combination of the rain and the heat jacked it up a little bit. We have some green peppers growing, and this is just turning into this huge tree. These actually look really good to be in the middle of the day. Now this is my Carolina Reaper, and I'm really excited about this one because there's a lot. And I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a lot of peppers growing on there. And this thing right now is obvious. It's up to my hip right now, so it's pretty high. I'm 6'1". So it's about 4 foot high up to my hip. This is our I think this is zucchini. So let me give a little, I planted some zucchini and squash, and the cinch bugs, the baby cinch bugs, or the leaf-footed, whatever those things are called, the orange bugs, they did a number on this plant. They did not touch any other plant in the garden. But man, you put some zucchini and squashes down there, and they're like, it's like crack to them. I was going to say something else. But yeah, them suckers ate that plant up. So I ended up having to pull up that squash plant, and that's sitting right now in the compost pile over there, as you can see. And it's trying to grow. And I'm really pissed off about that because it did not want to grow over here. But, you know, if it grows in the compost pile, I'm not going to eat it because that's the compost pile. But it'll be interesting to see. And apparently this is corn right here that I threw in the ground and forgotten about. I thought it was grass. And I was like, no, let's just see how high the grass grows. It's actually corn, y'all. It's the Jackpot hybrid corn from Home Depot. We had a harvest. That's where it was over here. Remember, we had corn plants over here. We had a harvest. I dried out one of the ears of corn and just planted a couple of seeds to see if it will actually do something, and it's actually doing something. All these tomato plants down here, listen, I cut the suckers off of those tomato plants and I just stuck them in the ground right here, and they're all growing except for that one. That one's not doing too well, but this one's growing. I got 5 others in the ground too. So everything's coming back. I'm excited about that. So we're going to have a good harvest. So this box is the partial shade box. Then we have our pole beans, which, you know, I underestimated the size or how long or how high. I underestimated the climbing ability of the pole beans because they're growing. And I put up a 8-foot pole or 7-foot pole, and the things have literally climbed up the string that I put up, going down the other end, but they're just all over the place. I've never grown pole beans before. I've grown bush beans, but never grown pole beans. So this is a first for me. Then this is our broccoli. Now, last year, we planted broccoli in bags on the other side. There's some broccoli bags over there. We planted that, and they grew all right. But this year, I wanted to plant them directly into the ground to see if it was a different feel, if you will. And yeah, it's growing a lot better. I'm going to use the bags that I have from last year because everything was in pots last year. I wasn't sure about the soil, and after I got it, you know, checked out and everything, found out this was all farmland. Then yeah, it was no brainer. So I took everything out of the bags, put it in the ground. Stuff is growing really good. That is a watermelon plant that is kicking off. It's like one of those Florida melons, the big ones. I'm excited about that. So these are all growing. Broccoli, that's the cabbage that's growing. It's only been in the ground for 7 days now, I believe, maybe 14 days. So that's pretty good. This is the corn. Let me climb under there's Molly, our mouth of the South right there. She's in charge of everything. So the corn is growing really good. It's growing better than the corn that I had over here in this box. Way better than the corn that I planted right here. This corn right here was an experiment. It died and I brought it back. It did 2 little ears of corn and then that was it. It didn't produce all the way. It was already halfway gone when I put it in the ground. But these are doing really good, and it smells really good because the pollen is blowing right in my face. Okay. So what I've been doing with this corn is because for fear of, I'm a little nervous because I planted them a little close. They're like maybe, 6 inches apart. And the rows are about 7 inches apart. So I thought they were kind of close. So what I've been doing is actually capturing the pollen, putting a cup over it and tapping the pollen off of there as much as I can, so that when the corn comes out and the silks show, I come over here like this one here and I hand pollinate it. So I'm actually going to hand pollinate, as you can see all the yellow there? I'm going to hand pollinate every single ear of corn on this lot, on this block right here, because I believe I might have planted them too close. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm still going to hand pollinate it anyway, just to make sure I get a good ear of corn. So this is exciting. My lilies are opening. Those ones are starting to finally open. My olive tree is actually growing again. Everything's doing really good. That's what I'm smelling. Man, I love the way those smell. Got to get some more. And then we have our snowbird citrus. A lot of people were asking, I'm going to say a lot, but a couple of people were asking about our lemon trees. How come they haven't produced? Now, I believe it takes a couple of years. Don't quote me on this. I could be wrong, but I think it takes a couple of years for these trees to actually produce any good fruit. So I'm just going to be a good steward of that and take care of them, make sure they're fertilized, make sure they don't get, I'm just going to keep them alive. And then you'll see. I have already pruned this young one back, and it's come back already. And this one's starting to pick up. My blueberry bushes are growing, and we've been eating the mess out of some muscadines. We have a ton of muscadines in here, man. And I come out here and pick those. And the grapes, we've been eating the grapes too. Those are grapes right there. Muscadine and grapes, and they're delicious. They're like candy sweet. Now, last time I posted a video, I don't know if it was on this channel or if it was on the Raw and Unfiltered channel we have, but I was talking about how the leaves were turning yellow, and I found out it was a deficiency. So, as you can see, they're not as yellow as they were before, because I went out and found some fertilizer, which is that 13. I found a small 40-pound bag, good price. You know where? Home Depot. And so I put it in last week, and everything's kind of so the issue that was going on with the soil back here is I needed to amend it. So I was putting the compost and I was putting the topsoil, which is good, but it needed more nutrients in the soil. So I put some 13 down, and everything now is like, boom, it's coming back. Things are stretching and yawning and moving. So it's pretty cool. This peach tree, bless its heart, it's there. I'm still doing research. For some reason, I don't know if it's in a pot, and I want to plant it in the ground, because I know once I plant it in the ground, it's going to take off. But I don't want to plant it in the ground, because peach trees can get big, and I kind of like having my grasslands back here too. So we're going to figure something out with that peach tree. But yeah, everything's doing really good in the garden. Our banana tree is swelling up. Our sunflowers are growing. La. That's what they sound like to me, sunflowers. They go la. And our collard greens are actually doing well. So I tore up all of the old stuff that was in here. And that's a moth. That is not a butterfly. So guys, if you see this here, it's not a butterfly. It's a moth. And there's the yellow ones with the black dots. Those are moths. Those are what leave the eggs on the plants. And it brings the worms, that puts the holes in there. Yeah, it's a whole cycle back here. Where was I? Oh, the collard greens. So the collard greens are doing good. So what I did is I tore up everything back here, turned the soil, put some fertilizer in. The only thing that stayed back here was the Ichiban, our collard green tree. It looks sad right now, but it's the heat of the day, so it'll perk back up this evening. And our lemongrass, which we're really excited about the lemongrass, because my wife wants to make lemongrass soup so bad. I've never had lemongrass soup. I'll take her word for it that it's good. So yeah, this is just a little update Or, well, it's not a little update. It's like 15 minutes now. And this is what happened to our mint. I honestly do not know what happened to the mint. It just, I came out here this morning and it was dead. Like somebody poured something on it. So I went back and checked everything, checked this mint, and it seems to be doing all right. But I'm going to get more mint because that mint is over a year old. It's like 2 years old or something. I don't know. It's pretty old. It's already starting to, flower and seed and all the other good stuff. And, oh yeah, and I left the carrots in here. There's some carrots that I planted, and I left those in there too. But everything else looks really good back here, except for that corner right there. That's an eyesore to me. I got to clean that up. And that wood pile right there. But, yeah, we're doing pretty good back here. I tried to build a watering, well, actually, I did build a watering system. This is a barrel. That barrel right there, I cut the lid out of it, put a spigot on the bottom of it. And I got some hoses that I can run to the beds. But the situation is I missed the rain season. Usually the middle of May to the middle of June is really raining. So that's why I fill up all my water billers. Like this one right here is full. That one's full. The problem is I can't get that onto that stand. So that's the issue. Oh my goodness. It's never boring back here. But yeah, I missed the rain season. So hopefully I'll just keep that out there and hopefully I'll catch a good rainstorm. It'll drop about, I'm not going to say 6 inches. It'll drop enough rain in there to where it'll water the plants. If not, I got a spare right here. But yeah, we're doing good. Just thought I'd give everybody an update. I took off the pump. We're going to use that pump for something else because that thing moves a lot of water. It's a pool pump, actually, and I got it really cheap for like $5 or something. I can't remember, but I got it from a yard sale. It's like $5. We was going to use that to water the plants, and I hooked that sucker up, and it was like I could water the world with that. But, yeah, that's an update, y'all. I want to tear this wagon apart. It's already falling apart. Like I said in the beginning of the video, that white corrugated tube, I'm going to cut that in 3 pieces and make 3 rings and put the dirt from here and in here into one of them. So I'm going to tear all this out right here, pull these up because they're just, I don't know, they're suffering. I'm going to have to get some more, redo all that right there. And I'm going to take this down and we're going to have 3 planter rings right there. That way it'll open this up a little bit and get some airflow coming from the south. But yeah, that's the backyard garden, y'all. I figured I better put something up there so y'all can see what's going on. But it's growing really fast. Really, really fast. I'm really excited. So look at the bees. We got bees, y'all. Is that a bee? Oh yeah. What kind of bee is that? A murder hornet? No, it's not. Okay. Woo. But yeah, we're loving it. So that's our update. Y'all be blessed. Plant something in the ground. Take pride in your land. Trust me, if you plant something and get a harvest, even if it's just a flower, just watching it grow, trust me, you'll change your attitude about the property you own and the land that you live on. Take a little pride in it. Y'all be blessed.